This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
Welcome back to the show. Jana Bantz now joining us here, our residential realtor, associate broker from Jana Bantz and Associates, and also with Next Home, the agency group. She has a lot of titles. She's a woman who's experienced in a lot when it comes to the real estate profession, and we're going to talk to her today about all the aspects of what she does. And first, would like to get to know you. So, Jana, first and foremost, good morning and welcome to the podcast.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure.
Well, for starters, let's get to know you. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Jana, and what it is that you do, with real estate.
All right. I moved to the Charleston, South Carolina area in 1991. Love every single inch of it. We raised two children here. Actually, we moved here in 1986. I apologize. I began my real estate career in 1991, raised our children here. I love every inch of it. And I've been quite successful. And some of that is luck. A lot of that is hard work and working with the
Beautiful.
right people.
Well, I love that, reading through your notes, your first goal was to become a mom. And of course, that's your proudest accomplishment. Myself as well. I have an 8 and 10-year-old. Um,
Aw.
and your boy, how old were you? Well, you have two boys as well, right?
Two boys, 43 and 40. They're both married with children and great lives. Very proud of them.
God bless. And where were you from originally?
West Virginia, up in the Eastern Panhandle, just above West Virginia University.
Amazing. So here you are, and you
Yes.
come to the beautiful South Carolina, which I've never. I went to Myrtle Beach. That's it. But I'm dying to go to Charleston, and I'm going to learn so much from you for sure. So here you are raising children, and what career were you in at the time? I mean, I think raising kids is enough, but tell me how you got into the real estate profession.
It was an accident, actually. I had gone back to school and I was going to do another 2-year stint. And I stopped in a real estate office to see if they might need part-time clerical work on the side.
Yeah.
They reviewed my resume, called me back, and offered me the full-time job as their relocation director, handling a very large contract. I decided to take a chance on that and loved it. After 2 years of doing that, I received my license and went into residential sales, which is a little scary because there's no guarantee of a paycheck, but it's been wonderful.
Amazing. Well, congratulations on this. What work were you doing before then that you had kids?
I always worked in offices. I've worked for defense attorneys. Managed a medical facility, always on the business end of things.
Got it. All right. And then I read a little bit about this boom. Something happened with the Navy base. Do you want to share a little bit about that?
Yes, through my career, I've seen every type of market from very busy to very slow. Right after I got my license, they shut down our Navy base and our shipyard, which employed thousands and thousands of folks. So we had 5,000 homes hit the market all at one time. That was trial by fire, but I was able to help maneuver that, help my sellers understand what their benefits were. The government at that time was helping some of the sellers that were being forced out and help my buyers search through a sea. You can imagine 5,000 homes to choose from. How do you narrow it down? So I help them with that. And then I've had the other boom where it's a buyer's market, and there's
Was
not
that
where
is that
there's a
the
seller's market
2000s?
when they're
Is that the 2000 boom we're
yes.
talking about? Tell us about that. Yeah.
In early 2000, they took away a lot of the regulations with financing. So everybody could qualify for a house. I sold 113 homes that year by myself
Wow.
and helped the sellers navigate multiple offers. I had one home that got 18 offers, and they were all within about $100 of each other. So being able to maneuver through that to determine which financing might be easiest to work with, which buyers had the greatest possibility of getting to closing was very exciting. And then we switched back to a buyer's market the next time where we had more sellers than buyers. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little confused. Yes, we had more sellers than buyers, so buyers had a lot of choices. So I've been in every market where either the buyer was on top or the seller was on top and been able to maneuver through that and help my clients be successful.
Beautiful. And then you mentioned in 2012 was that Great Recession, right? So
Yes.
This is
helping people understand that their values had dropped and the buying power was less. And there were a lot of short sales, a
Mhm.
lot of hard times for folks. And I was able to help maneuver them. And it made me feel good that I could get folks who had lost jobs or were in trouble out from under their biggest expense and get them back on their feet.
And then what happened just a few years ago with the pandemic?
Then we got back into the buyer's frenzy again because people could work anywhere in the country. They didn't have to work at home anymore. So
Hmm.
they could move to choice destinations like Charleston, South Carolina. So we had that to deal with. And then during the pandemic, we had to maneuver selling. I sold a house virtually to people in Canada, help people buy without ever stepping foot in the home, but getting to know the neighborhoods and
Wow.
what was going to work for the families. So it's been a very exciting and storied career.
Beautiful. Well, since we're speaking of Charleston, for those that may not be so familiar, please give me an overview. Tell me all about Charleston and what it has to offer for someone out there who may be enticed to maybe want to move there. Like myself, I just want to visit, but I hear such amazing things. But break it down for me, please, Jana. I'd appreciate it.
Sure, come visit. I'll show you around. I'd love to.
Great. Thank
Charleston
you.
has something for everyone. It is a great place to visit. You see that in all the magazines. We're always the number one destination in the United States, but it's an even better place to live. We've got a nice temperate climate. We have very hot summers. Our winters are very short, usually just the month of January. We're already back up in the 60s and 70s today, and things are starting to bloom. So you've got that nice mix. There's every type of art here available, if whether you like opera or classical, country music, any venue
Yeah.
that you like is here. You can go 45 minutes in any direction from Somerville and do saltwater sports or freshwater sports. We have four beautiful beaches. Our schools are excellent. It's one of the top destinations for retirees. We have a large military base for the Air Force. The C-17s are stationed out of here. So we have a large military presence as well. There is something here for everyone. I love it. I love the people. I love every inch of it.
Clearly, I can sense your passion. I see it. I feel it. The energy is alive and amazing. So we're ecstatic that we're here again with our full service real estate professional, over 30 years of experience. And you're specializing in not only new construction, but resale, corporate relocation, first time buyers, military moves, active adult communities, golf course communities, waterfront, equestrian properties. Oh, I saw that on your website. There's so much going on, vacation homes. And I know today, you wanted to discuss, obviously, a little bit about maybe, the experience you have, your passion for helping your clients, and, we'll go a little further,
Mhm.
but go ahead.
All right. When I left something out about Charleston, the foodie scene here is incredible. You gain 15 pounds as soon as you move, so just be prepared for that. It's fabulous. I've never pigeonholed myself. I have always made myself available to buyers, no matter what their desire was, whether it was a first-time home buyer, whether it was a move-up executive. We have people who come into town and buy second homes. Anything and everything that someone's looking for, I can handle. And I have a full-time teammate, Lisa Maynor. So between the two of us, we can do anything that anybody needs. So I've never been pigeonholed. I'm here for what you need and what complements your lifestyle.
Beautiful. Well, thanks for sharing that. And also, you mentioned how professional, dependable, knowledgeable you all are. And clearly with you and I believe it's Lisa you said, right?
That's
Let's
correct.
let
Yes.
let's dive into some of the work that you're doing and the things you can help people with.
Right. I have currently got clients coming in from Montana and Los Angeles. I just helped a family from Colorado. They're all looking for different things. So I can sit down and interview and learn about you and what you need and very quickly pinpoint which side of town you might like, which lifestyle you're looking for, and narrow in on those properties. And then as I walk people through, I ask them to be very verbal. Tell me what you like and you don't like. And very quickly, I can narrow down what works for them. So the goal is always to find their house in the shortest possible time so that while they're here house hunting, they might have a day or two to go out and play.
Amazing. And by the way, I've gotten to see some of the homes that
Fun, but
are.
I'm with you for the long haul.
Oh, perfect. I'm so sorry. I just stepped over you, but we just broke up a quick second here. Good, good, good. I know we're in great hands with you,
Okay.
obviously, and your team. Let me ask you, out of, who taught you the market? Do you have a mentor that someone that kind of guided you, held your hand along the way?
My second broker was absolutely my mentor, and what a joy and a gift to have him in my life. His name was Tom Atchison. Still get a little sad. He was the quintessential Southern gentleman. There wasn't anything about real estate he didn't know. He always made you feel that he was there to support you and make you successful. He was there if I got into a tough spot. He was there to celebrate the wins, and he just gave me wings. I can't ever thank him enough. He made a difference in my life.
Wow. And can I just ask, is there anyone, are you living that legacy? Are you mentoring others as well and taking the time to, teach, the younger generation all about this craft and field?
Yes, we don't have a mentorship program per se. My door is always open. I'm always willing to answer questions. The new agents that come in sometimes want to shadow on showing appointments or open houses or listing appointments. So I always say yes when they ask me questions. I always stop what I'm doing and help them because had I not had those folks in my life, I wouldn't have been successful.
Oh, I love it. Oh, it's amazing. Well, let me ask you about, what would you say sets your team apart, right? There's other realtors out there doing similar things that you do, but why do people come to see Jana Bantz and Associates, would you say?
We've earned a very good reputation in the marketplace, both with the general population and with other realtors. That sets us apart. We are very dependable. We are available 7 days a week, 24, not 24 hours a day, probably 18 hours a day. I've worked with folks from Australia where we had to get up in the middle of the night to communicate. But for the most part, we're available about 12 hours a day. They know that we're always in their corner. We are knowledgeable, we're experienced, and we can guide them carefully from point A to point B.
Beautiful. So how does the process work when let's talk about, maybe the buyer first, right? Buyer comes to
Okay.
you. And like you mentioned, it can be anywhere around the world. So what are some of the things that we should
Yes.
be aware of when we start looking for a home, especially in your area? And by the way, what are some of the local communities? I was reading, I know Somerville, then there's downtown Charleston.
Yes.
Just
Yes.
familiarize me with the rest of the areas.
All right. Well, everyone hears about historic Charleston, which is actually a very small area. It's built on a peninsula. It can't really grow. And it is fabulous, but you need to be in the $1 million range, probably mid millions to be able to afford down there. So then most of our population lives in the outskirts. We have Mount Pleasant, which is known as the East Cooper area, and that is
Okay.
closer to the beaches. We have Johns and James Islands that have a rural feel. And they're close to a different beach. And then out in the Somerville, we call it the North area. Somerville, Goose Creek, North Charleston, we have a good bedroom community. We're far enough inland that the heavy storms don't really cause us a lot of damage, but you're within 45 minutes of the beach. So there's really a community that suits every need.
Beautiful. So that's one good thing to know. If someone's coming to look to move in the town, they're coming to buy. These are some of the things
Mhm.
you would start discussing with them and give them the insight. And clearly, and by the way, on the website, you guys offer all the information about all the towns, and that's how I got some knowledge as well earlier today. But that's a start. You want to, knowledge is power, and that's what you're giving your potential buyers. Then, what are some of the
Yes.
other things that we need to be aware of? I'm assuming it's budget, one of those. What are some of the other things on the buyer
Yes.
checklist?
We get to know our buyers pretty quickly, and then we get them pre-qualified. You have got to start with a pre-qualification letter, or if you're lucky enough to pay cash, you have to bring proof of funds so that we know what budget area we need to look in. Then we start to talk about what communities are available there and what amenities they look for and would enjoy. And then per the new real estate rules and regulations that changed in 2024, we have to sit down and give them a very clear and concise explanation of how we work as a buyer's agent and what that involves, and that we have to sign a contract before you leave the office, and that is a nationwide rule. They understand what our role is in the process, how we're going to be paid, what we expect to be paid, and if we're going to be able to negotiate that from the seller, or that may be an expense coming from the buyer. And then we can get out and do the fun stuff and start opening doors and walk through homes and familiarize ourselves with neighborhoods.
And just curious, and being that I'm not in your field, I just know on the news a few months ago there was talk about something that was going on with the real estate or with real
Yes.
estate's commission. Is this a nationwide thing? How has that affected us yet? Can you share with us what was happening with that?
Yes, it is a nationwide ruling that went through the courts, and it's overseen by the Department of Justice. So you need to make sure that you're working with a good, honest, knowledgeable realtor that can explain these new rules to you. There are also rules that focus on the sellers. So they had a small group of buyers in the Midwest who formed a lawsuit and said that they felt for 100 years, we've always negotiated our commission up front with the seller, and then we split that between the listing and the buying side. So
Mm-hmm.
it was never a conversation we had to have after that listing appointment. This lawsuit said they felt that was unfair on behalf of the sellers, that they were offering a commission up front without ever seeing an offer, and that perhaps the buyers needed to have a little skin in the game too. So the judges decided that that was fair. So we had to do what's called uncoupling. If you'll remember, there was a divorce years ago where they called it uncoupling, cautions uncoupling.
Yes, yes.
So we talk to the sellers and we tell the sellers, this is how much we're going to charge you to market and sell your home. Then when we talk to the buyers, we tell them what we expect to be paid for the time we're putting in. And that we can often negotiate with that with the sellers, but if the seller is unable to, maybe their money's too tight, or they
Mm-hmm.
have 18 offers on the property and they don't feel like they need to pay the buyer's side, then we would look to the buyers to pay that commission. But one way or another, as
Beautiful.
a buyer's agent, we have to get paid for our time, our knowledge, and
Absolutely.
our experience.
Absolutely. So I know we
And
talked.
I'm proud to say that
Go ahead.
Yes, I'm proud to say that of the 50 states, there were only 18 that already had this rule in place where we had buyer's agency. South Carolina was one of those. But then you're
Oh,
looking at the other 32 states that didn't have that, and buyers were never educated. So we had a leg up. We already knew how it worked. We just had to explain how the money was going to work with the buyers.
beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. All right. So we're talking here, obviously, with Jana Bantz and Associates. And if you're looking to move to buy to or sell, obviously, in this beautiful area of Charleston, she's here joining us live today on the show. Let me ask you, in regards to, we were just talking about, buyers coming in, and then you're now going to be showing them the homes, and you're walking them hand to hand. I mean, right, for the beginning through the end. That's the beauty of going with someone like yourself, right? You leave no stone
Yes,
unturned, and they're going to have questions, and you're our experts because there's some people out there. Don't get me wrong, but they go to like buy buy a home. I live on Long Island in New York, right? And I had a
yes.
girlfriend who did for sale by owner, and I'm just like, how do you know what you're getting? Like, and long story short, she said, I wish I would have did it the other way.
That's good to hear. Yes, you can get yourself in a mess for sure.
Yeah, you need people that are qualified, skilled in your field, and it ends up saving you money
Yes.
in the end.
Oh, absolutely. And guiding you and making sure that your rights and responsibilities are covered and that everyone's treated fairly in the process. A scary story years ago, I had a client whose parents decided to do for sale by owner. They lived on a lake. They held an open house on their own. When people came in, they'd say, walk down, check the water out, see how it is. Well, 2 days later, they got a lawsuit from someone who said they slipped and fell at the dock, went to the doctor, had a broken leg, and sued them for $1 million.
Wow. So,
Yes,
oh, I never thought of the liability of that as well. My goodness. So, in the
yes.
event you are doing the open house, you are licensed, insured, and all that, right?
That's right. And we stay with those folks. When they walk through the house, we're right with them.
Yeah,
So
make sure
you,
nothing
and we need to know
disappears,
when they come
nothing.
in that, and
Hmm.
we need to know that they can buy the house. Why would you open your front door to someone that you don't even know if they have a job or financing in place? Very scary.
That is scary. My goodness. All right. Well, what else do you want your listeners and viewers to know about you today?
All right. Well, whether we represent a buyer or seller, we're with you from the beginning to the end. We personally attend every inspection. We go over all the results. We negotiate repairs. If there's, we're in a tropical climate, so we always do termite inspections here. Termites like warm, moist air, and that's what we have. So we walk you through all of that. We help with the appraisal. We negotiate any conditions that need to happen, and we attend the closing with you in person. Even if you close via POA, we go to the attorney and sit with them while the documents are being handled. So you're never alone. We're your right hand.
Wow. Okay. I bought my first home only 8 years ago, right? And my first time, this is intimidating. I rented my whole life. I used to live near New York City. And long story short, I had a mom that was sick with cancer. I come out to
Yes.
this community. I'm looking at homes that are about 20, 25 years old, and it's a great little neighborhood for kids, a little gated community, but the houses are 25 years old. So I know nothing about going into this. Now, if I had an educated real estate agent like yourself, this never would have happened. But let me just explain this as something, and I'm sure you can relate to other people who don't have someone walking you hand in hand. I go, I look at the home, I like it. Now we're dealing with a contract, but the real estate agent never came back with me. And I'm walking around doing the inspection. I know nothing
Yes.
about furnace boilers. Turns out the Peerless wasn't up to par, but no one told me. I didn't know. But this is the one big problem in my house. No one ever told me or showed, I didn't understand. I guess I looked in the closets, but I didn't understand. But because they regutted some of the inside because there was a flood, they left me without closets. So I had open pantries, open closets, but no bars, no closet. That's something I would have negotiated with. I close on the house. I come into the
Mhm.
house and I'm like, I have no shelves. Wait, I have no bars to hang my clothes in every closet. That's something I think you, as an educated realtor, would have said, hello, let's negotiate something here because they sold me the house
Yes.
without that. And then I had to go spend $10,000, $15,000. And I did it inexpensive through Home Depot, but to get all these cabinets and closets done. I said, this was not part of my budget. I didn't understand this, but a little thing like that goes a long way.
It is exactly. That's why we don't leave anything to chance. And then when the repairs come in, we also explain to the buyers what is reasonable and customary to ask for and what may not be covered in your contract. So it's very important. And Lisa and I have a better than 80% return rate with our clients.
Yeah,
I have one family that I've sold probably 21 homes to family members.
God
That
bless.
is the greatest gift. And that means that we're doing our job and we're doing it well.
Amazing. What would you say the most challenging part of your job is?
That's a very good question. Inventory, the housing inventory's been down for several years, so inventory, and then helping buyers and sellers understand true market value. Some folks come to the South and still think we're very backward and they're going to get a great deal. It's not the case. Anytime you live near the shoreline, you're going to pay a premium for that price. But we have different price points. Like in Somerville, our average home is about 425.
Okay.
In Mount Pleasant, the average home is about 680.
Mm,
So we also have to determine that with budget, where it's going to be the best community for you.
yeah.
Pardon me, and the most affordable lifestyle, because I don't want you to buy a house and not be able to afford to order a pizza at the end of the month. You don't want it to be so overbearing that you can't enjoy life. It needs to be budget friendly.
Absolutely. And let me also ask, we're talking about real estate and, homes and condos, but what about the active lifestyle, 55 and older communities? I was reading that you also have a lot of those down there as well.
We do. It is excellent. And each one has a little different personality, which is great. We have one neighborhood that starts in the mid fours and goes up. We have two other neighborhoods that go all the way up to 1 million. One neighborhood has access to a waterway, so you can do kayaking and canoeing. They all have indoor outdoor pools. Some of them have pubs. They bring in professional chefs and teach classes. And they have on-site lifestyle directors that if you have an interest and there's not a club available, they'll start one. They travel internationally. They go out to dinner locally. There are golf clubs. Charleston has got one of the highest numbers of golf courses in the nation. So we get a lot of golfers, and it's a big outdoor community. If you like pickleball, tennis, boating, anything that you like, it's available here.
Thank you so much. All right, we still got 3 minutes left in the show. So what else do you want to, share with your audience for today?
Let's see. It's a great gardening community. We have flowers that bloom year round. We have different seasons. We have the foodie scene is incredible. There's something here for everybody. Talk about our population a little bit, just to kind of give you an idea. The last true census performed by the government was in 2021, so we've grown a little bit. In Charleston County, there's about 413 people in the population. Berkeley County, about 236,000, and Dorchester County, about 163,000. So, but we're constantly growing on a daily basis. The Chamber of Commerce says we get about 30 new residents a day in the Low Country area. And then we have a lot of new construction. That's been different for my clients moving from New York and New Jersey. So there's not a lot of new construction there. You can buy a brand new house here and have a lot of the interior customized to what you want, just depending on which builder. Some are track builders, everything's included. Others give you examples. I spent about 5 hours yesterday with clients building a semi-custom home, and they were able to pick everything in the house, which was great fun. And they invited me along, which I enjoyed.
It's amazing. This is beautiful. Well, it's a pleasure getting to know you and, meet you and understand, all the amazing work that you're doing and helping so many. So thank you for being here with us
Thank you.
today.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Thank you. It's nice to meet you. I hope I can help some folks.
Absolutely. Now tell us how we can reach out to you, please.
All right. And as we say in the South, y'all come.
Yes, yes.
You can reach, if you want to talk to me directly, you can call me at 843-709-3880. If you want to check out my website, it is janabantzrealestate.com. And if you want to email me, it's jana@janabantzrealestate.com. We try to make it as easy as possible. Would love
Beautiful.
to hear from you. Even if you just have questions, we're always here to help.
Thank you so much. Pleasure having you here and looking forward to the next time we connect. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Joe. Come see us.
Will do.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.